I'm trying.
Well, you gotta think and then say the line.
If I don't, then you take over.
No, I'm ready for you to go.
No, you were talking. That's why I had to keep talking.
Oh. I just finished my 12-step meeting. We didn't have a key to get into the basement that we normally meet at, so we just met outside, which is actually kind of cool, knowing that we don't even need a building to meet. There's these pauses when people weren't sharing, and it was like dark out, and you could literally hear crickets. Now I'm heading to my workout.
Seconds.
41, 42,
24,
33,
25.
ah,
Come on, son. Two more. 26. All right, good work. Oh yeah. Extra credit. This is like that. This is like that scene in a movie where the credits keep going, but the movie's still acting, you know? And Sonny's just like, this movie's not over till I say it's over.
all right.
55.
That concludes the work. This is what I love about 12-step meetings. My entire life I've gone to meetings, a ton of meetings, all sorts of different kinds. And I've gone for all sorts of different reasons. Sometimes I wanted to be a better person, sometimes I felt guilty, sometimes I felt like I was a part of a club. With 12-step meetings, what I found is that people are there for one reason. They're desperate. They feel like if they're not there, they're gonna die or screw up something royal. They need to be there. And that's what I need in my life. I want that type of like desperation. The type of thing that says you need to be here or you're gonna die. And when we have a meeting like we did today where we didn't even have a building, we just sat out in a parking lot, it reminds me that we're not here because we're in a club. We're not here to look cool. We're not here because of our fancy building. We're not here because it's comfortable. We're not here to get any points anywhere. And this is why I dedicate 3 hours of every week, minimum, to these meetings for me. It's life and death, and it's one of the biggest factors of what you guys are seeing here with me being a father and the type of husband I am. It wasn't always this way. I've changed so much, and it's really because I've been going to these meetings for 8 years. That's all I had to say about that.
I had a recent realization when I looked at my oldest daughter, Dove, who's 15. She reminds me a lot of my sister when my sister was that age. My sister is artistic. She's stylish. She likes style. She loved music, the kind of whatever music was in at the time. And all those things, I feel like I could describe Dove the same way. And even how they look. With their hair, and I don't know, it's one of those things that I kind of just feel it. I'm like, yeah, you're a lot like your aunt. You see that family traits get passed on that way, which is, I think, kind of how God intended it to be.
Speaking specifically about the music, it's interesting hearing her. She's like blasting this music through our house, what feels like all day, although it's not all day. And sometimes I'm like yelling at her, like, turn the music off. And it kind of drives me nuts sometimes. But I would rather her be listening to the type of music that she likes with all of us there instead of just locked in a room with headphones on her private iPad, isolating herself.
And she likes to share that. She likes to share that music with us, with her. Like right now, she's just in there blasting this music with Seven, and they're kind of just enjoying it together, which I think is really cool. There was no note, but it didn't take Liza long to realize that Ilsa Herman had been at it again, and she certainly wasn't taking the chance that the cookies might not be for her. She made her way back to the window and passed a whisper through the gap. The whisper's name was Rudy. It's time for Q&A.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
You may be wondering why I am so dressed up, but that is because as soon as we are done with this, we're going out on a date. On Instagram. Okay. Load more comments. Morjador4N says, what are Camis' thoughts on breastfeeding in public? One sentence, go.
Hungry. He just got upset. I think it's great because he got all bumped. Here. I think women should feel like they can do it. He's too distracted.
Olivia asks, how do you deal with strain in relationships or fighting between siblings? Do you take a back seat or are you more proactive at their ages? There's times where we could step in, but at the end of the day, we're not always going to be there, and our kids need to learn to work things out with each other. And sometimes it's going to take longer than just the day or the hour. So we have to let things go. But especially when it comes to looking out for the younger ones or the smaller ones, we like to step up and protect them. And I think our main strategy with a lot of things is instead of just telling the older kids, stop being a jerk, stop being mean, I want to find out what's going on deep inside of them. Quite often we find out that they don't feel loved or cared about, and that's why they're acting out.
But we also don't always do that. Sometimes I only have the patience just to say, you need to stop.
Hoogdor says, I'm a new watcher to your vlogs and was wondering what Shabbat shalom means. Shabbat shalom literally means rest in peace. Shalom is peace. Jess Schwani says, curious what your Shabbat looks like. We clean to get ready on Friday.
We have dinner at 6 o'clock.
We have
a nicer dinner which means like
you're like taking like
fancier food.
Forever. And then we have dessert and we watch a movie on Friday nights.
Saturday mornings we sleep in and we have a nicer breakfast, leisurely.
We have nice coffee, usually like either waffles or donuts, and we wear our pajamas around the house.
And we basically just hang out all day long, reading, sipping coffee. Oh. You do that one.
Hey, come on.
Ben and I schedule our sexy time for that afternoon.
And sometimes I play video games with my son.
Then we end Shabbat with a dinner, usually out. Sometimes we grill out.
So, okay, good job.
Good job, he says. Good job.
Christy Camp says, you mentioned a while ago that fostering sibling relationships is at the top of your priority list. What are some practical ways you do this? I think the biggest way we do this is by teaching our kids to talk and share their feelings with each other. It feels really redundant at times, but if someone hurts someone else, we have the kid that was hurt come to the kid that hurt them and say, hey, what you did hurt me. Because we feel like that's the best thing that can happen for the relationship, and eventually we want them to do that without us.
The other thing I would say is just time. They have time together to work those things out and to play and to just be siblings.
Doug asks, 2 or 3 day backpacking trips in Washington? 2 to 3 days.
The Olympic Mountains, maybe?
I would just do the Wonderland. Jessica asks, what is your favorite way to treat yourself after a long day?
Ice cream.
Grater's ice cream. Nicole and Alan and Dirty Toes Hairbows wants to know what's written underneath the eave of our house. I'll show you. This is something we had painted up here about 3 years ago. And it says, let our houses first be lined with beauty, where they come in contact with our lives. That's a quote from this book, Walden by Thoreau. And the full quote says, when I think of acquiring for myself one of our luxurious dwellings, I am deterred. For so to speak, the country is not yet adapted to human culture, and we are still forced to cut our spiritual bread far thinner than our forefathers did their wheaten. Not that all architectural ornament is to be neglected, even in the rudest periods, but let our houses first be lined with beauty, where they come in contact with our lives, like the tenement of a shellfish, and not overlaid with it. So what he's saying is, we all spend so much money on our houses, far more money than ever before, and especially the outsides, how they appear to others. But what's on the inside is kind of like falling apart and not super beautiful, not super special. So what he's saying is we need to prioritize making the inside of our house beautiful, the human part, the family, the life, the love. And it's kind of like a shellfish, how on the inside it's like shiny on the inside, but on the outside it looks kind of gross. That's how we want our house to be. We want the inside to be the beautiful part. Cammy's leaving to go feed the baby because we're not taking the baby on the date tonight. Thank you for all your questions. Sorry we're not able to get to all of them, but keep on asking them. We check Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. Mantis.
Whoa.
It's gonna have babies, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Butt is big.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's a prime mantis. I think it's gonna have babies because it's really huge. Yeah, it's a female one.
That's cool.
I touched it with like stick out like female ones have wings, like really small wings.
It's like licking his foot.
No, that's how they clean their mouth.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Go ahead.
No, you say the dinner.
We have dinner at 6 o'clock, a nicer dinner which includes fancier food.
Well, you gotta think and then say the line.
If I don't, then you take over.
No, I'm ready for you to go.
No, you were talking. That's why I heard you talking.
Oh. Well, you gotta think and then say the line.
If I don't, then you take over.
No, I'm ready